I'm going to show a few things that weren't entirely on the agenda, just because we've got, I mean, technically 15 minutes before I start the next one. We kind of give people a break if they want to sign on. So the whole point of this session is how you're able to get the listing when you're using our MarTech tool. So what we're able to tell the seller, right? You just went over all these different reports with Natalie and Wendy, and we have to give a special shout out to Dave Tumpa for allowing me to use his account this morning. So he's the best. Thank you, and thank you, Wendy, for giving it to me. All right. So basically, what I'm going to suggest you guys do, and the first thing I want to show you does have to do with open to close. So I know that we were just in this, but this came up on a manager meeting that I thought was that Hobie thought needed to be shared. So I'm going to share it with you all first. Something I'm going to tell you to start doing is create or make your open to close a CRM for properties. So let's say for Runswood Avenue, I'm actually going to I'm going to add people to this. Go away. All right. I'm actually going to add people to this house, and they will stay on there for 6 months till after it closes. That's the part that you really want to use. So whether someone calls on your listing, whether they come to an open house, whether it was an online lead, no matter what it is, put them in here. Okay. So when the time comes that you have another listing that's similar to it, you can actually click on this broadcast message and select all of them. And then just say, I know that you were interested in 123 Main Street. It sold pretty quick. I've got another property coming up that I would love to show you. You could show this if you are farming an area, or you work in a very similar price point in your neighborhood. Use this to your advantage. Those are buyers that you already have access to. This isn't reverse prospecting like Real Scout or Buy Side. It's actually you reaching out to them directly. And I would create a nice little blurb, have it saved on a Word document, maybe on your computer somewhere. That's just how you can copy and paste it. So I would use your broadcast message feature, your visitors, to your advantage for the seller. So again, I just went into my open to close dashboard. Under the more, I put view visitors, and then I would just add them. And I would put under the notes, howardhanna.com listing, called in. Just get their email, because that's who you can reach out to and tell your seller, hey, I have all these buyers who liked your neighbor's home. I'll email them right now. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you, and this is my thing I do all the time. So I'm sure if you've been on a class, I apologize if you've already heard this, but I love video content. I think it's very important for us to start using it, and you want to use it for virtual tours, virtual open houses, maybe testimonials. And you can actually create a listing presentation, not a CMA, but actually present your listing and send that out in open to close. All right. So here's a big, wow one for you. All right. I'm going to create a new presentation. And it doesn't matter. It could be buyer or seller. You just want to have access to the MLS. So I'm doing the CMA one. All right. And I'm just going to put in a property. I'm going to take this lovely one, Dave's listing. Oops. All right. And I'm just going to create this, and you can actually create a sample one and show this presentation to a potential seller as well. So I'm just going to throw in that MLS number. All right, and it's going to pull all this information. Well, then under pages, I'm going to add a video tour of the property. And in this listing presentation, you could put, the yearly utility bills. You could upload a PDF. You could add, what else? I mean, different pictures. of before and after. If they did renovations, you could do one of all of the, maybe neighbor testimonial page. You could really sell the listing. That's what the point of this is. We tend to limit our idea of testimonial tree, or excuse me, of Hannah presentations to be, just for the CMA or just a non-listing packet. And you should really use this to sell your listing. So I'm going to add a video. All right. So I'm going to I'm going to click on the before the property summary. All right. And I'm going to go to add page and then create new. And serious kudos to Dave for already having a YouTube video on this listing. Actually, it's like I asked him to prepare this for me. All right. So under build page, I want web view because I'm going to send this to people who come to my house, come to this as from an open house or have any interest in it. So I'm just going to click on this main one and make sure it's under web view. I'm going to click create. And his property right here has a virtual tour. I'm going to show you how to do this. But right now, he's just uploaded it to YouTube. So I'm going to take that URL. I'm just copying the URL. All right. And then I'm going to go back to my Hannah presentations. And this is so simple. This video button, I'm going to just paste that video and click add. All right. I'm going to save that. Wendy, you're going to have to remember to delete this out of his account. It's her account. That's obviously why this is popping up like that. So now that this video is in there, and I could actually play this video as part of my presentation. So what you're going to want to do after this, and I can do this again, is under this view option, the web view gives you a URL. This is what you want to share with everyone. And this is what I suggest that you just have prepared when the time comes for after an open house. You could put this in the broadcast message. You could say, thank you for coming to my open house. For more information on this property, click this link. And this would be the link. So you should make a listing presentation to sell your own listing, put video content in there, maybe a tour, talk about the neighborhood, show the different before and afters. And I could just copy this link. Sorry guys, my Zoom thing keeps getting in the way. And then in that open to close, after the open house, and you could tell this in your marketing presentation. When you're talking to the seller, let me show you this presentation. You could send them this URL. They could post it on their Facebook. They could post it on their LinkedIn. This is a dynamic URL that can be shared on all social media sites. So I would just click broadcast message, and I could just paste that in there and say, click here for a great presentation on the property. You can also, if you didn't want to just send the broadcast message, where is it? So they've changed a few things here. So you could change the Howard Hanna URL if you wanted and put the presentation in, but there was a way to do this on your presentation. I have a tech tip. They changed a few things out here. I have a tech tip, and Natalie and Wendy, if you remember how to do this. There was a way to sync a presentation, your Hannah presentations. Never mind, as soon as I said it, I remembered. Under settings, under integrations, Moxie Present, you want to turn this on. And you could actually create a seller presentation or a listing presentation for each of your listings that would get automatically sent out to people who come to that open house. Keep in mind, you're using your open to close as a CRM to keep track of everyone that's interested in that property. Whether they've called, add them. Whether they emailed you directly, add them to the visitors. And now they're going to see that great presentation. Share it with your seller, tell them to share it, send it everywhere. Hey, my realtor made a great presentation on my property. Please check it out. It includes a video. You could talk about the property. You could interview the seller if you wanted during it, however you want to do it. But let them share it. That's also more press for you, right? Their friends and family are going to see that. And the next time they want to refer an agent, they'll probably give your name. So those are the two little added things I just thought about 5 minutes before. The rest, I promise, is far more, less ADD. Are there any questions for me that I need to review? Wendy, are you laughing at me? I just literally wrote these notes. I was like, I should show them this. And that's where this happened. So
I am. I'm laughing with you. No, I think you went over it again. There was just a question about how you got the URL, which was basically a copy and paste from YouTube. There is a question about Hannah presentations, but I don't know if this is the forum for it. When they add it to their presentation, I don't think they know how to edit it so that it's blank in the presentation.
So that it's blank in the presentation.
Yeah, when they add the page.
Oh, so just show if they want to build a page again.
Well, no, the seller net sheet in Hannah presentations. That's what they're talking about. It's Stephanie. If Stephanie wants to unmute and talk.
So if you want to, I believe you have to fill some of that information in, but if you want it, it's under add page, add from library. And then
Yes.
it's under report pages. These report pages will be pulling in data from the MLS and other sources. The net proceeds sheet, you could just add this. And I believe you'll probably have to put in, I didn't put in any information, did I? Interesting. I will look into that, but you might have to fill in some stuff for that to populate. Is that my last question?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, Laura, I'm just going to show you. I have 2 more minutes before technically I start the actual class, so I'm going to do that again. And now that I'm very sorry, everyone. If you've not taken a class with me, I can be a little crazy. I'm actually on another meeting on another computer at the moment, which is now that I'm relaxed, I will do that again at a much easier pace. So I'm suggesting that everyone creates a listing presentation that actually sells your listing. So you would add some pages about why that listing is so great, and add video content, like a video tour. That URL that you create, you can send in your broadcast message and add it in open to close for anyone that comes to that property. So how I did that, I've just gone to my Hannah presentations. All right, so I've opened my Hannah presentations, and I've just, in this case, I actually just added an MLS number. So you would, if it was already listed, you would just add that MLS number. And then under pages, I'm gonna want to build a page. That's how you make it for the web, for web view. So I create new, and then build page is what you want to do. The easiest template is going to be this one because it's just blank, but you could technically, you know, add, if you have like, you know, side-by-side video, or if you wanted to do an image, or maybe all of the renovations listed here, and then a video of like, you know, what you're showing and the title of the property. You could do a lot of different things here. But in this case, I'm just going to do this big one, and I hit create. And you need a video that's already on an online streaming service. So Dailymotion, Vimeo, YouTube, you could upload those. And it's very easy to get a YouTube account. I actually have a video on that if you're interested. But in this case, I found this video. He already had one. I'll show you, if you have it on YouTube, how easy it is to get these videos. So if it was, let's see here, let's find a better example. So if you're on YouTube or Dailymotion or whatever it is, and you want to share a video that's already been uploaded, you just find the video, and I'm copying this link up here in the URL. All right, so I'm just right click and I'm hitting copy. And then in my presentation, I click on video, and all that you need to do is paste that video and hit add. And now this could technically be a video on, you know, how great the property is, whatever you want to put through. You could, you know, do a little interview. You could do one with a loan officer and send it out. But the point is, we're using this to show our sellers all of the tools that we can do, and a dynamic URL presentation is going to set you apart from a lot of competitors. I hope that was much easier to follow. All right. So now what I'm going to show you is all of the video stuff that you can do with Howard Hanna and how you're able to share that. So last April, I believe, or maybe it was May, early May, Hobie had a town hall with Lauren Morante. If anyone wants to look it up, I can put it in the chat after this, where they just talked about video content and video tours and live open houses, and how Hobie believes, even when COVID is behind us, eventually it will be, that this is really where we're going with real estate. There are going to be people that are looking to buy a house without ever setting foot in the home because they're looking at a live tour. And you want to be able to show the seller that you can put these videos on howardhanna.com, and you can share virtual open houses for anyone in the country, right? If someone wants to view a house and they're not able to make the open house, you want to at least be able to show them that live open house. So my first piece of advice is, when you sit down with a seller, you should tell them that, you know, there's a lot of people that are relocating. Maybe we're allowed to work from home with a lot more companies, and they want to check out some things closer to their family. And you have ways to share their listing videos live, open houses live, with every potential buyer. All right, so how you are able to do this. On howardhanna.com, if you wanted to give an example of this to your seller, there's this option here that has virtual tour. For most MLSs, it's probably going to populate with a panorama type of presentation that is hardly a virtual tour. It is basically moving still photos with kind of silly music, and it sounds like, you know, they make it sound like it's a virtual tour. That's not. So you can keep those on there, but you want to be able to add other videos, and you can add Matterport URLs. You can add live open houses that you've downloaded. You could add a video that maybe you've created. If you are looking to create video content, maybe of just a specific room that you're excited to share, there are some mobile apps that I would recommend that are so easy. And I promise, I say easy, I will also make a little tip on this, but Pick, Play, Post. Pick, Play, Post is a very simple video editing content for a cell phone that you can then upload to YouTube and add. All right. So how did Dave Tumpa do this? All right. Under your web admin, so from Gohanna, you click on your web admin. And then we'll go to property maintenance. You also want to set yourself apart from every other, you know, competitor out there that's trying to get the listing by saying you're going to have a video tour on all of your listings. So we're in Dave's account, and we're just going to click on one of his properties, and you're going to see virtual tour and home tour. Home tour is that boring moving photograph one. You don't really want to use that. Virtual tour is where you can click and actually add a URL. So I would just click up here, add new tour, and then just copy and paste that MLS number again. Once you've added it, you can actually rearrange these virtual tours. so that the one that they would see isn't necessarily the moving, photos, but could be the actual video. So you should start doing this on most of your properties. Keep in mind that sellers are going to these websites, not just looking, these aren't just buyers looking for the next house they want to buy, but sellers are looking at different agents that they want to use. So if you start doing this, you can create your Hannah presentation with your marketing piece that says, every single, if the seller's willing, every single listing I have, I can do virtual open houses when I go live at my in-person open house. I will make virtual videos, and share them on the website. And then you always want to share the listing from the Howard Hanna site so that those individuals that are potentially, going to buy the home would see that updated listing with all of those videos. So you can add, I believe it's 3 or 5, I think, that you are able to add. So you could do the property panorama, which is the one that is just for from the MLS. You could do your own video, a live open house that you could keep that URL, and then you could do an actual cropped, edited video using Pick, Play, Post. Or if you want to get really fancy, there's another mobile app called Power Director that is also free. I really like it, and I can do some video tutorials on that eventually. So those would be the 2 that I would probably recommend. And Filmora Go. I will put all of these in the chat when I'm finished so you guys can check them out. All right, are there any questions about that piece?
Kate, there was a question about when they put a virtual tour, a virtual video of any type, maybe even Matterport, in the multi-list, does it automatically come over onto their Hannah listing website?
Yes. So I'm not going to get into the MLS pieces and parts of this because there are different logistics behind, branded and unbranded, depending on what MLS you're using, what videos you're allowed to add. I guess in New York, they actually, or in Natalie's, I think there's a way that you can upload 2 and it will just send the correct one to sites. You need to check with your manager or your regional on if you're allowed to put like your name and Howard Hanna's logo in the video, if that's something you want to do. There's a lot of different logistics behind that. But if you just put something on YouTube and then share it to Howard Hanna, that's fine. Was that it, Wendy?
Yes, they're just curious about the feed. Where's the feed start from? And I believe the feed always starts with your MLS, which every MLS has different rules.
Yeah, so on your MLS, and I could show that, you could add, so there's 2 ways. You can actually add a virtual open house through your MLS. I can do a tip on that, but I'm with Yes MLS, and I know there's people from all over on this, so I don't really know if I want to waste time showing that. If you have a question, you can email me and I'll send you a video. But there's a way to add like your virtual open houses, virtual tours, and that will feed to Howard Hanna's site.
Right. So for example, this video link right here under this listing was the one automatically generated in the multi-list. It's not something special that was created. So it is here via the multi-list. Okay.
Yeah, and actually, a good point, Wendy. Everyone probably has one of these on one of their listings without you even knowing. You should up the ante. You should make them a little bit, set yourself apart here. The next thing I'll show you is with the virtual open houses. So again, from Go Hannah, you're going to find it under marketing and open house admin. Before I begin, let me tell you all that your admins should know how to do this. I want to show you that it can be done. That's really the point of this. I think a lot of times we train admins on how to help you, but if you don't know what you can give them, then it's never going to make it online. So I had an issue with this initially. Don't worry, I am prepared. I'm logged into too many Go Hannahs, so I think that's why this is happening. All right, so again, under marketing and then open house admin, you can add your virtual tour. So let's say I want an open house on Sunday. I've selected Sunday as my date. And then you'll notice under type of open house, there's virtual and then there's both. Here forward, moving, from this point moving forward, there's no reason why you shouldn't offer this for both. And you want to be able to tell your seller that you're doing that. So you can have, on Sunday, I'm going to go live from 12 to 12:30, and then I have my live open house till 1. You can just have your iPad, your phone out. You can do a tour, and then if someone comes on and they want to see it, they know that they should come on in those first 30 minutes. But your open house URL, this question came up on the town hall last April, is how do I know what that URL is? If you have a business page, and I suggest everyone has a Facebook business page, you have your own live channel. All right, so I can already tell you what your channel would be. It's facebook.com/live/your username. So mine is Kate Lasold, so it'd be live Kate Lasold, and that would show all of my old videos. And I could just upload that and they would know, okay, I can put in the same URL every single time. And no matter where someone is watching, they would see all of my old videos. I suggest in your HANA presentation with your actual trying to get the listing to add this part to your marketing piece to the seller to tell them, here's an example. You could look at my page, and the more you do, the better you're going to be. And as scary and daunting as this might sound, I really do think this is where real estate's headed. I think it was already headed in this direction during COVID, and it just really got pushed forward. So be prepared for those video open houses, for virtual live experiences, to showcase that to everyone in the country. You don't need to buy all the bells and whistles. There are some stabilizers if you do want to do live videos, and you could definitely bring that on your listing appointment to tell your seller. They're under $100 mostly. They're on Amazon. You can practice with that. A lot of the times, I just try with a steady hand to walk around. I keep it a little authentic. I answer questions about it. If you're nervous, you could go to my YouTube channel. I've done 3 live videos right at the start of COVID. If you go to my Facebook channel, I've probably done 8 live open houses starting as far back as 2017, and there are some bad ones in there. I've left them on. If you want to feel good about your own video, watch mine. I promise you'll feel like you're going to be a Hollywood star when you see some of the really bad camera work that I've done. So again, keep this in mind when you're talking to your sellers, that you're able to do all of this because you have access to this on the Howard Hanna website. And that's really what we want to push. When they're saying, oh, I'm looking at this different broker, I'm looking at this different listing agent, well, can they do all the things that I can do? And I think that was all. Are there questions I need to answer?
Mark has a question. Do you post the video on Facebook first? I assume he's indicating before putting virtual URL here.
So it will automatically post to Facebook. The URL this URL isn't actually the video, it's the URL to your live page, and then you should go live. If you want to actually just create a video, then you would have to upload it. I would upload it to YouTube or something, and then you could put that under the virtual tour one, which is where we just were. So this would be like if you're showing, so this virtual open house is going to be a live experience. You can download that video after. There's like a little half square with a down arrow. If you want to download it, I can show you that on one of my videos on YouTube. But you can then share that on the last site that we saw. So again, this is just open houses. The one that I showed on Dave's site was under the virtual tours. So 2 different places that you can share video content. Does that help? So the Facebook Live URL for yourself, I don't know if it's live. I might have done this backwards. Oh, I didn't. So it would be your username and then live. And then this would be whether someone has access to Facebook or not. They could see past live videos. Oh, the other ones are on my parents' page. That's why there's only 3 on this one. but this is how you can just copy this and put this everywhere. Donna, that's a great question. Is there a talking point checklist? There will be. I will write one out for you guys on how you can set yourself apart in the marketing realm.
And Katie, when you write that, how will it be available?
I will send it to everyone that was on this call.
Oh, wonderful.
You'll have to give me more than like a day or two.
Oh, no, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Can I do a live video from my bit? Yes, yes, and you should. Actually, you know what? There's some great advice on the Howard Hanna YouTube channel on how to handle this. If I were going to go live on Sunday, I'm going to go live 2 times before that on my Facebook business page, telling people I'm going to go live on Sunday, because that video will stay on my page. I'm just going to do like a 30-second clip. Hey, join me. I'm doing a live open house this Sunday. They'll get notified that you've gone live, which is great. And then you're getting more press. You can actually boost that video to get more people to go to your live open house. This is actually, I'll share a ridiculous story. I know, Tom, you've probably heard this. And I think Laura, you've probably heard this story too, about the first time I ever went live. It's a great one. I'll do it really quick. 2017, I went to do a live open house and was really convinced that it was going to be like my new, fame here. I was going to be real estate famous. And it was, I had a selfie stick that used the weight of the phone to keep the phone level, and I didn't have it clicked in. So the entire time I was recording the ceiling of this renovated home because I was just reading from an MLS sheet. I had no idea anything about the listing. It was my mother's listing. And I left that video up. So this is why video is so important. The authenticity and personality that can come out in a video is so significant when people are looking for a realtor. I left that video on my parents' Facebook page. It's still there if you want to dig back to 2017. But I made another video right after, and I laughed. I said, well, everyone saw this beautifully renovated ceiling. Let's try that again. I'll show you the property. A little embarrassed for my first, I showed some humility there. And we boosted the second post. The second post had over 6,000 people look at that video. I think it was 6,000. About 6,000 people looked at that video. And we paid to boost it, so that made sense. But there were 1,300 people that watched the embarrassing 30 seconds of me recording the ceiling. We didn't pay to boost that. So you've got, that's 1,300 people that saw, that wanted to see Kate LeSueur, maybe embarrass yourself a little bit, but you get the name out there, you show some authenticity. But you can add that to your marketing package. Hey, I did a live open house. I did a virtual tour and I put this on YouTube. Look at all the views. It doesn't have to go live for your first one if you're nervous. Look at all the views, add that to your marketing package when you go on a listing appointment and say, I had 6,000 people see this property for sale. Maybe they're not going to buy, but they're definitely going to, think of you don't want to tell the seller that. They're going to think of your name, but they're going to think of maybe a neighbor, a friend, a family member that would want that house. All right, there are some videos I'll show you about going live. So I think initially, this might be on my other page, because we did not have things set up yet. All right, so there's a playlist here called Going Live. And it's gonna actually show you how to go live from Facebook on your phone. And then it's an example of 3 live tours. I will put this in the chat if you're interested, getting some content, some ideas, what you can share. And I think, Natalie, wasn't there one more thing that you guys were going to share in this session, since I've just taken all the time?
I think you were going to do buy side, Kate, weren't you?
Yeah.
Am I doing buy side, or Natalie, are you taking over?
We were just going to walk through a BMA and how you can set that up for your. So
Yeah, will you do that, and then I'll be here if there's any other questions. Show
Okay.
them how they can get show that for their seller, what their seller will see. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope I've inspired you for your next listing presentation, what you're able to show the seller.
You need to stop sharing your screen.
I'm sorry, give me 1 second.
Okay. Okay, and so the last thing that we just wanted to go over is with buy side, you can do a BMA for your seller, which again was similar to what we were talking about in Real Scout, but buy side has a lot broader range of where it can pull its active buyers from. So if we go into buy side, which was right from the top here, you can just automatically go to BMA to set one up. So we're going to look at this option right here rather than the home valuation where the seller could walk through and do this themselves. So we'll use that same address. And if you start typing it in, it's going to pop up and you'll just click on it right here and you'll do the next step. And so then it's giving some information about the property. If I know maybe it, got an extra bath or something, I can put that in here and click next. Then it gives a different property estimates. So there's 4 different estimates right here that I can choose from. I want to make sure I do the low end and the high end, and then I can choose either of these if I wanted, and I can even put in my own estimate. So again, what is great with buy side is that it does show a range of estimates from a few different sites, as you can see: Zillow, Home Valuation, ePraisal, public data. They might change depending on your region. But this is really important because it really encourages that seller of why they need a professional to actually look and know their home for their home's worth rather than just the numbers that the internet sees. They need to know the updates that the seller has done and whatnot to find that actual accurate price. And so with the buy side and with the BMA and the home valuation, it's always encouraging you or them to go to you as the agent to get that more detailed answer. And so then we'll just click next. And I can even choose the range of featured buyers right here to generate with the price down here, if there was maybe a broader range that I was going to go for. And then it's going to generate this report, which does take up to 60 seconds as it said. So I should have had this pulled up for you guys already. But yes, as Wendy said, please verify the property information. You want to make sure that you are putting in the accurate information. And then while this is loading up, BuySide also under My Listings has that feature where when your listing goes live, you can go in there and you can see all the agents who have potential buyers where your new home fits their search. And you can reach out to those agents and say, I just put this listing up. I see you might have some potential buyers. Just let me know if you want to take a look at this house. And again, so that's a great tool to talk about and tell your potential seller that that's something that you can do to be proactive about the listing as well. Okay, so here is I actually can go under My Listings. So again, Dave Toompa is a star. Here is that BMA. Gives your information right here. And as they go down, it does give them some reasons why partnering with us is great to sell their house. So definitely make one of these up, use your home, a random home, and just look through this and read it in more depth. I don't want to take up your time doing it in depth right now, but again, here's some real-time valuations. Your estimate could come up down here, depending on if you've, visited the house, more information. Here is the buyer heat map, which is a lot more intense because it can pull from a lot more different sources. And so they can see just how hot their area is. If we keep going down, it's also going to show the online activity in 90 days. It will even break it down by bedroom, by price range, where they're at. And so it gives the buyer or the potential seller a lot of information, and really all you did was put in the address, make sure the basic property information was correct, and chose what estimates that you wanted, and all this comes up. And then here, again, this is all it shows about the potential buyers, because your buyers are your buyers, and the system just gives them that ID, and it tells them to contact you as the agent. So you can make sure all your buyers are in here so that they're popping up on these results, but you're the one that another agent is going to contact, not your buyer directly. But it's just cool for the seller to see actually some ID of what, you know, these buyers are actually looking for. We am questioning the difference in price range for the estimates. I think
Yes.
that's what you're talking about. Yeah, that's we want them to question that, because those estimates, they're just pulling off of, you know, internet data right here. And so that's really why they need you as the expert to go in to look at their home and to actually nail out the correct price, because the internet can only tell you so much about a house without really knowing what's been updated on the house, what's been changed, whether, you know, you did add that extra bathroom or something. And so that's the price range is kind of a main strong point to say, this is why you need the realtor. You need that person who actually knows your house more than just what the internet can see.
So those of you not monitoring your chat or looking at it, you know, there's a good question in the chat. Where is this buyer activity for the heat map, for the numbers coming from? And Kate typed in there, it is coming from all of Howard Hanna's aggregators. Every piece of information we have based upon our internet data. So whether it's howardhanna.com, realtor.com, RealScout, open to close. So it gives a global general view, an overview, if you will, of what buyers are looking for. So they may actually just be randomly searching on howardhanna.com and they've set up a search for themselves, or they could be an actual buyer working with an agent that has a RealScout account. So it's giving a more general view of buyer activity. And if you are using Hanna presentations for your presentation, the new default presentation, if you're using that, some of you may already have templates set up. If you have templates previously set up, you have to add pages down here on your heat map and the 2 pages that follow. Those pages will automatically show up in Hanna presentations if you're using the new defaults. If you have a template set up and you're not using the new defaults, you can add these pages to your presentation. You just have to remember to add it to your template.
Wendy, I'm going to add one thing there. Okay, so just so everyone's clear, can you scroll down, Natalie, for me to the buyer ID page? So this is the Howard Hanna piece. These are actual Howard Hanna, like vetted buyers, if you will. The ones prior to this are including like the online aggregators like Zillow and Trulia, where people are just clicking on certain properties and we're getting that click info, but we don't have individual buyer data. So a lot of people always say, okay, well, so this is just Howard Hanna buyers. Yes, but Howard Hanna buyers are the best buyers out there. That's what you need to start selling. I mean, these are the ones that are pre-approved. You know that they're working with an agent that knows how the business works. Our in-house deals have a much higher close rate. So you can use this to your advantage. And if we have the market share in your area, which in almost all of our locations we do, I mean, we have the buyers also. So there's no reason why that objection can't be overcome with some of those comments. That's it.
Yeah, that's all great. I was just seeing if there's any more questions. We are at 11:15, so we are at our time. But those were all great questions in regards with that. So I was just making sure that wasn't anymore.
Donna has a question. You want new default seller template?
Hey, I have presentations up. Do you want me to share my screen real quick and just show them?
Yes.
Natalie, will you stop? So just so you guys are clear.
And also Kate, show them the order because most likely when they add those pages, they're probably going to want to change the order of the pages. They're
Sure.
not in the best order by default.
Okay, so just so you guys know where this is for the new presentation. You have to click under brokerage templates. So if you have your own templates, those pop up first. So if I click on new, oh my gosh, it's gonna move. Create new. Let's say, so it's got to be seller. And then if you have your own templates, it's going to say my templates. So make sure that you click next to it for brokerage templates. And this is the first one. This is not what you want. You want this one with the 2 little asterisks, new. All right, I hit continue. Wendy, another one for you to delete. While I'm spamming his presentation. Sorry, Dave. All right, and then under pages, you'll see it's at the bottom. It's kind of like the last, like big. So there's no data in here, by the way, but the featured buyers, this is the one that would have all the little people on it. The heat map is the one, obviously it has the different images, the red map, and then buyer activity has that funnel. So if you wanted to move them, you could just drag and drop. If you've already created a template and you want to add the buy side seller pages, under add page, it's going to be under partner pages, add from library, and then you'll notice partner pages right here. All right. Any questions? Any other questions? A lot of familiar faces. Hey, Aaron. Hi, Stephanie. I know you and Nils. I know all these. This is so nice to see all these familiar faces. All right. Well, I guess we're done, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone. Have a great rest of the week. Stay warm.
Thank you.